The next article I wanted to talk about is about Michele Bachmann. Okay, so you guys probably remember Michele Bachmann's response to the election results throughout the entirety of the last 8 months or so. She completely disintegrated. But I figured we'd start out with a clip from her claiming that God is going to make Donald Trump the winner of the 2020 election. Let's start here, and then we'll move forward to her reaction and now how she feels about it, because she just released a brand new clip about this like a couple days ago. So let's watch this first clip by Michele Bachmann, see what she had to say. This is pre-election.
Well, you know, it was said just before that we had a crucial moment 4 years ago when the intercessors in the prayer room down at KCM Ministries took to heart the different notes that we passed in to pray. And I think that we're at that moment now where the beauty of this show is that it's interactive. And all of our viewers who are watching, we need them. The body of Christ needs them.
Intercessory prayer is the idea that you can pray for somebody or something, pray on their behalf, and God will fulfill your wishes. So Michele Bachmann's election strategy going into 2020, I guess, was to go on Fox News and as many of these news networks as she could possibly get on and get the entire audience to pray for Donald Trump to win. That was the goal. And she succeeded in that goal of getting people to pray for it. So naturally, that means he's going to win, right? Let's keep watching.
And we all need to join in with the intercessors that are praying even now. And what I would say is that God has already sealed the results of this election. He has sealed it in heaven.
There you go. That's her claiming that God sealed the results. Trump was going to win the election, according to Michele Bachmann. God has sealed the results. So what happened after he lost? Let's watch this clip from Michele Bachmann.
I ask, oh God, that you would take your iron rod, and I ask that you would smash the clay jar of deceit in America.
I love it. She's completely melting down on air. She posted this to Twitter, I think, or something like that. This is embarrassing. This is real fucking embarrassing.
In America, smash the clay jar of delusion in the United States of America. Smash the delusion, Father, of Joe Biden as our president. He is not. Yeah. Would you take your iron rod and smash the strong delusion that Nancy Pelosi does have her House of Representatives? We don't know that. Smash it in Jesus' name. Smash, Lord, the takeover of the U.S. Senate by Chuck Schumer. Lord, smash it with your iron rod.
That happened, I guess. This poor woman is an embarrassment to herself and everybody around her. Honestly, I really feel bad for her that she put this out. But I have to say, it was just endless entertainment watching these people disintegrate after they claimed that God told them that Trump was going to win the election. It was so entertaining to watch them just freak out. Like, they're being forced to face their delusion. They're being forced to recognize the fact that they were full of shit all along. You know, Johnny Enlow and Robin Bullock and Jeff Jansen, the snazzy pastor, Michele Bachmann, all claimed that Trump was going to be president, that God told them that Trump was going to be president again. And now Trump's not president. It is so fucking glorious to watch them melt down over this. I'm sorry. I get enjoyment out of this. I eat it up. That brings us to our next article on rightwingwatch.org, written by Kyle Mantilla. Title is, Michele Bachmann was not impressed by Biden's fake State of the Union address. Let's give the article a read and see what it says. Televangelist Kenneth Copeland's Victory Channel aired a special edition of its Victory News program Wednesday night to coincide with President Joe Biden's speech to a joint session of Congress. Former Congresswoman Michele Bachmann was among the commentators who appeared on the program, and she was predictably unimpressed by Biden's speech, calling it cruel, labeling Biden a fake president, and saying that the entire thing smacked of the invasion of the zombie apocalypse. Let's give this video a watch and see what she said in it. Remember, this aired at the same time as Joe Biden's speech to a joint session of Congress. Basically the State of the Union address, but they don't always call it the State of the Union necessarily. In this case, Biden decided to call it the joint session, the speech to a joint session of Congress. That's really the only difference. It's basically the exact same thing. Let's listen to what Bachmann had to say about it.
American people have been saying, where's the State of the Union speech? And Joe Biden hasn't given a State of the Union speech. They've made it very clear.
This basically was the State of the Union speech. Are you saying just because he didn't name it the State of the Union speech, that means it isn't a State of the Union speech? Like, he can call it whatever he fucking wants. Why does it matter what it's titled? It basically was the State of the Union. It was around the same time that it usually is, and it had all the same information that a State of the Union address would normally have.
Tonight is not a State of the Union speech. It's a speech to a joint session of Congress. So because of there's an absence of the people who run this country in this chamber, they want to make it look like it's the State of the Union, but it really isn't. So
they could have just named it the State of the Union if they wanted. What's the fucking difference? This is bizarre. Why is she getting all hung up on this? Is it because she's having trouble dealing with the fact that she was wrong? That she lied? That God didn't really tell her? She had zero confidence in reality that God was going to make Trump the president for another 4 years? Is that why she's digging this stupid fucking hole for herself?
Trying to appease the press by saying, look, our guy can give a speech in the chamber too, but they really don't want him to be held accountable. So
be held accountable for what? What does that even mean? Be held accountable? What is she talking about? What is he supposed to be held accountable for? Joe Biden is the president. He could give a State of the Union address if he wanted to. He chose to give a speech to the joint sessions of Congress. I don't understand what the hang-up is here.
This is a fake State of the Union speech, just like, in my opinion, what we're watching is a coup. It's my opinion that the election was irregular. We didn't have a true election result. We had a fake election. We've had a fake presidency. This is a...
You gotta be fucking kidding me. She is still hung up on this. This clip just came out. I mean, this article released like 2 or 3 days ago. This is a fucking joke.
Fake State of the Union address. So this is the new normal as far as these people are concerned. Well, with all due respect, it was the invasion of the zombie apocalypse as far as I'm concerned. I thought it was just rich. At the very end, President Biden said he's never been more optimistic and confident.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention this, but I don't know if you guys heard. Ted Cruz fell asleep at Biden's speech. I'm sure he did it intentionally because he could use it as a propaganda piece, saying that people were falling asleep at the speech or whatever else. It's the perfect opportunity to drum up controversy and propaganda and get yourself a little bit of attention. Fall asleep at the speech. Perfect. Or at least pretend to fall asleep at the speech. Let's keep listening.
And you saw people were falling asleep in that chamber. It was probably one of the most sad, depressing speeches I have ever heard. I wanted to go on YouTube and look for a President Trump speech to Congress so that I could get all pumped up.
This is such an embarrassment, man. For the record, a large percentage of people who watched Biden's address to the joint sessions of Congress came out of it optimistic. I don't remember, so I don't like quoting numbers. I feel like I read it was 81%. That could be incorrect, and if it is, please correct me in the comments and I'll pin it to the top. I believe that it was like 81% of the people who watched the speech felt more optimistic after having watched it than before. That's good news. I didn't actually watch it personally, but I watched highlights and listened to the synopsis and stuff like that. And the things that he had to say, I was a big fan of. I feel like Biden is kind of centrist / neoliberal or whatever, not progressive enough for me. He's no Bernie Sanders, certainly. But, credit where credit is due. The guy is doing some things that I really like a lot. Like talking about abolishing private prisons. I want to see him follow through with it. We'll see.
He certainly wasn't pumped up on this one. I took all sorts of notes. There were all sorts of errors in this thing.
All sorts of errors in this thing? This person, Trump supporter, is talking about all sorts of errors in a speech coming from somebody who supported and voted for Trump. They don't have a concept of irony or hypocrisy, do they?
In this thing, quite honestly, the word that I have for his speech, it's cruel. What he's intending for the American people, the result is cruel. I don't know.
What's cruel? What is she even talking about? I hope she's going to elaborate on this, but I get the distinct impression she's just going to call it cruel with absolutely no supporting examples or evidence.
How much time we have, I hope we can talk about it more, but I think one of the most cruel aspects of what he's proposing is snatching 3- and 4-year-olds out of their parents' arms, putting them in government-run preschools. They'll be...
What is she talking about? Like, literally nothing that he talked about could possibly be misconstrued to be about this. What is she talking about? In the comments, please explain if I'm missing something, because this is making zero sense to me. But that's not unusual for Michele Bachmann. She kind of comes in, guns blazing and makes zero sense 90% of the time.
Putting them in government-run preschools, they'll be learning critical race theory. I've observed this curriculum. I've seen this curriculum that they're planning to use with little 3- and 4-year-olds.
Why would anybody teach 3- and 4-year-olds critical race theory? That is kind of an advanced subject that isn't taught until you're a lot older. From my understanding, critical race theory is basically just a lens through which you view certain academic research. Critical race theory is not evil or bad or racist and shouldn't be removed from anything. It was originally used in law school to look at cases from a different perspective and stuff like that, from my understanding. There's nothing evil or wrong about critical race theory. It's just another buzzword, like socialism, that they like to throw around all willy-nilly and scare people with. That's it. There's nothing bad about it.
Planning to use with little 3- and 4-year-olds. It's the LGBTQ curriculum. It is the critical race theory. Our little children will be indoctrinated before they even get to kindergarten.
Does it get any batshit crazier than this? This woman has deep problems, genuinely, but she's crossing into a new level now. Just like with Johnny Unlow and Robin Bullock and Kat Kerr and all of the others, she's refusing to admit when she's wrong, and it's an embarrassment. Is she ever going to leave Delusion Land and come back to reality with the rest of us? I doubt it.